Hey guys, I'm Meteorologist Chris Tomer. Let's talk some mountain weather. And overall with this pattern, I think the bottom line is I just don't see any big storm cycles. There are a couple of hot spots to look at over the next 5 to 7 days for good snow, and that's mainly going to be the Intermountain West and up in the actual Northeast, which is great because Killington needs a pattern change, and I think they'll have some snow coming their way in colder temps. But there is going to be a southern track low first, and I'll show you what that looks like, and then that will open the door behind it to a series of cold fronts that will race out of Canada, Banff down into Montana, Wyoming, into Colorado, with a very strong northerly jet flow. And I'll show you all of that coming up here in just a few. Let me show you what the pattern is right now. So this is infrared satellite. Big low up here headed into Alaska. That's going to be a non-player for the United States. So we've got a cutoff low right in here. Well, not cutoff, but it's going to come down, act like it's cut off, and become a southern track low. And I'll show you that in the jet setup. And then behind it, let me just show you what we're looking at. So there's a cold front right here. There's another one up here. Once this low moves south, snows in southern Colorado and northern New Mexico, it opens the door behind it in the wash for these to come south, and both of them will. And there's a big high right here. And this is going to become a dominant player and set up like an umbrella over the Pacific Northwest and BC and California coast and not allow any precip to move in there for a long, long time. So that'll be a dominant player in the forecast. So let me show you what I am thinking as far as timing. So this is the future radar and the satellite. So watch the time as we head into Monday morning. Look at the southern track low diving through New Mexico and Colorado with snow. Then it opens the door for that strong northerly flow with the jet stream. You can see the snow showers coming through in waves. So Sunday night, Monday, Tuesday, and then again at the end of the week, all the way from the Banff area to Montana to Wyoming and into Colorado. And that strong northerly flow. I'll show you what that looks like with the jet stream, but let me show you this again. So here's Monday morning. Southern track low moves out, opens the door for the northerly flow with cold fronts. Here they are coming down. You can see there comes another wave of snow. And there's Friday morning, and there is Friday night. So let me show you what this looks like as far as the jet flow and why this makes sense. So this is Monday the 14th. Okay, so the low will race and send its energy on the southern branch as a southern track low. Big high pressure builds up into the Pacific Northwest and BC and shelters that area, sending the jet south across Montana, Wyoming, and Colorado with a series of cold fronts and light snow. So that's Monday, and the pattern really does not change, even by the 20th. The high moves a little further east. The whole pattern translates a little further to the east, but it's still set up there. And so you're still looking at a very strong north to south jet through Montana, Wyoming, and Colorado. But eventually, beyond this period, all of that may shift further east, and we might start to get a little bit of more unsettled weather and some snow back and precip back into the Pacific Northwest, like 21, 22, 23, 24, somewhere in there. We might be able to shift all this further east. All right, so let's look at snow totals, and I'm going to do this in a couple of different phases. So here's phase one, all of today through the 16th, and you can see the north to south accumulation of snow from Banff to the Intermountain West all the way through Colorado and northern New Mexico. And northern New Mexico is largely from that cutoff low and that southern track low that's going to swing through on the southern branch. Here is phase number two, and this is going to be the 17th through the 20th. And again, you're just looking at that northwest, that north-northwest type flow down through the Tetons and into the central and northern mountains of Colorado, mainly on the Continental Divide, or slightly east and west of that, give or take a little bit. But we're not talking big snow totals. It goes back to what I was talking about at the top of this segment, that I just don't see any big storm cycles. With this amplified jet pattern, it mainly favors the Intermountain West. And it may actually favor the northeast as well. Let me just show you while we're on it. Total 1113 through 1120. The entire period in the northeast. There's two different lows that could impact, and I'm looking at Killington here because they've got some ski competition coming up. This would be more than what you've seen so far. I mean, this could be good. It would be colder. Through the 20th. So the biggest totals would be in the dark blues and the magenta colors on that map. Let me just show you the total for the west through that entire period. All of the 13th through all of the 20th. You can clearly see with the color contours, that it's going to be from Banff and I'm looking at the deep blues and magentas into parts of Montana, Wyoming, central to northern mountains of Colorado, and down into the sand grays, wet mountains of Colorado, northern New Mexico for that matter. But look at the West Coast and the Pacific Northwest. That is something to behold. I mean, there's nothing there. It's just so dry. And again, that's a total 13th through the 7th through the 20th. All right, so I'll keep an eye on the pattern. Always appreciate you guys tuning in here. Have a great day.